Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM21 Build a Nation story from Bangor City with me, Daniel. We're back today for part 119 and I don't think it gets much bigger, does it? We face AC Milan at home in the Champions League, TNS away in the Welsh Premier League, and it's the start of 5 games in 13 days and 3 games in 5. So we're going to have to try and nurse our first team through this game and TNS. Maybe rest everyone against Buckley. Barry Town United will have to mix match. And then Paris Saint-Germain again. It's another massive opponent. It's going to be a really difficult spell. If you're looking forward to it and seeing how we get on in the Champions League, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Don't forget we're third seed here. We're expected not to finish bottom. We're expected to be in the Europa League after Christmas. We've got to make sure we achieve it. We've had a flying start in the Welsh Premier League. 4 wins, a plus 17 goal difference. TNS, Barry, Colwyn Bay, all dropping points across the board. So we should really be favourites this season. And then we've got to hope they go big next year. There are so many positive signs in the nation. And we're going to talk a bit about those as well. Not just our transfer work at the end of the window, but a little bit that's been done by some of our rivals too. So if you want to stay up to date and see how the season goes, please do subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on. But the first thing I'm going to do is show you our transfers because there is big news here. Now, it's not in the fact that we've done a deal. Morgan Boys is going on his way out. He's going to Doncaster in January for 165,000. We've managed to replace him at left back now. It's the nature of the replacement because we've replaced him with someone we were looking at in the summer. We tried to get Ahmet Bektas on a free agent deal. He wasn't willing to join us. He went to Huddersfield. Then he was unhappy there because of something that was going on off the pitch. They didn't bring him someone in to settle with him. And he got in a strop. He got put on a transfer list on deadline day. And I know we've paid massive money in 6.5 million. But the wages, very moderate at £3 a week. He's got big potential. He's a Dutch international. Can we turn down a 23-year-old Dutch international at Bangor City? I don't think so. So he comes in to compete with Yesten Weaver. Might make his debut today, if not certainly at the weekend. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can do for us because I think he's going to be very special when he develops. He can also play further forward. I'm sure he'll be able to cover for us in midfield if we need him. And I just like him. He's a good player. So yes, we've had to pay a transfer fee, but we're paying half the wage we would have. So it all adds up in a way. You can see we've also, though, made a pretty big domestic transfer. We've given 250 grand to our rivals Bala Town for Yolo Maxwell. Now he is a young 16-year-old striker with bags of quality, 17 years old now as it happens. He's gone back on loan to Bala for 2 seasons, but he's going to be training full time, which is surely going to help him out. He's already involved a lot this season. He's developing on and off the pitch. And we were going to approach him for compensation, but it was 160,000. So I just thought I'd top it up and try and help the nation. I'm only doing it a little bit. It's not beyond the realms of possibility. We've just added about 80 or 90 grand in. And Yolo Maxwell is our player, but he's back at Bala for the next 2 seasons. Going out the other way though, we have Joe Duffy at last leaves the club, this time to Cambridge rather than Peterborough. Cambridge, incidentally, Championship side. I'm not sure how he's got on there in his first couple of games, but he's joining a Championship team and on his first appearance did alright, just wasn't able to get a goal. But they are really going to struggle this year. Certainly not a Championship team on paper. So hang on, their key players Welsh. Evan Jones. He's a winger, not someone we can utilise. But he's gone for 170,000. Of course, Maxwell has gone back on loan to Bala for 2 years. But overall, it's been a really good summer transfer window for us. And not just for us, because there were some big moves at the end of the window for our rivals. So there were lots of little deals going about on deadline day and a few days before it. But there are 2 or 3 things, in fact, that really stick to my imagination. The first one, Barry Town United bringing Dean Rogers on a free agent deal. Anyone remember him? Over 50 league appearances for us. We got him in from Connors Quay originally. Went off to Cheltenham in England and now is back in the Welsh League with Barry Town United. Doing a good job for them so far. He's a solid enough pro. And definitely an improvement on some of what they had before. So we're really pleased to see him back in the Welsh game. They followed that up with the signing of Gareth Hughes. Doesn't sound like a well-known name, but had been at QPR, or come through the ranks there I should say. Played for Rochdale in the last couple of seasons. Made appearances in the EFL as well. And now has joined Barry on a permanent deal. Now he's only on non-contract terms, so I don't know that he'll improve. But he's got a good personality. He's got good attributes across the board. And Barry again are getting towards that stage where they might have the second best team in the league. They've got Josh Thomas, they've still got Harry Gray, they've now got Gareth Hughes, and they've got Dean Rogers. It's a decent spine of a team. But all of that was trumped just a few moments later in the same day, after we brought in Ahmet Bektas, then TNS came along. Vivaldi and Goma on loan from Liverpool. £20,000 loan fee, the most they've spent in a long time. So they're definitely using that European money. And look at him. He's a 2-star ability fullback by our standards, so good enough for our backup team. He's a real step up from what they've had before. He's performing brilliantly. He's done really well in the matches he's played. And they're keeping clean sheets galore. And Goma is playing a massive role in that. They're not contributing any wage, but that is a signal of intent. And that's something that's given me so much hope after a brilliant summer. And maybe our players being worth a bit more, maybe there being more value and bigger transfer windows in the Welsh League is maybe helping them get those types of players in. So plenty to look forward to there. But we've got 2 big games to get into. The first one is at home to AC Milan. We need PSG to do the job against their Swiss rivals too. And this is the lineup our assistant has recommended. Now let's see what we're going to do with it. Matty Whitaker will be in for Jerome Kelly, who played a lot in the international break. Reyes in the midfield for Patrick Malone. That's going to be our midfield diamonds. And I think that's about it. We might put a couple of others on the bench. We are a little weaker than normal there due to injuries anyway. But I'm just seeing how strong we can get away with being. Bulkley's coming on leaps and bounds. He's really pushing on for the first 11 now. And I might do Gwyn Morgan instead, because I feel like we're missing a fullback there. So Gwyn Morgan onto the bench instead of Louis Rosario. And this is the 11 we're going to go for. It's George Wickens in goal. McDonald and Weaver the fullbacks with Mackenzie and Whitaker at centre-half. Lloyd, Broom, Reyes and Tom Jones the midfield diamond, with McKinnon and Walters up front. Everyone else has ended any unhappiness or transfer problems they've had, apart from Harvey Lloyd. He's still wanting to leave to a bigger club, but we'll win him round, don't worry. Bangor City v AC Milan, we're going to take the game to them. Fingers crossed it goes well. Let's see if we can shock them. And here is the lineup for AC Milan. A fair few familiar names in this side. Moussa Barrow, Nikola Vlasic, Billy Gilmore, Manuel Locatelli, Dean Henderson in goal, Anana's on the bench, Jamal Lewis is on the bench. They have got a blend of young wonder kids coming through their youth intakes and brilliant first team players that will now be around that 30 years of age mark. So we're going to have a real difficult test on our hands here. The racecourse absolutely packed as you would expect for Bangor City v AC Milan. And anything other than a defeat today is a massive shock for Welsh football, as Conte's got to throw on the right-hand side to Rota, to Nikola Vlasic, of course starring in the Euros for Croatia in real life, to Rota, back to Locatelli, just wide of the post. I'm keeping my eyes peeled on whether we need to drop from positive to balanced. It has worked for us on occasion before, and actually after the first 10 minutes I'm getting an indicator we might need to. Only 35% of the possession, no shots yet at all. Milan are a big side, as McDonald throws in from the right. Conte heads clear. It's going to be got there first though by Harvey Lloyd. He's got 2 centre-halves with him, instead placed to Broom and McDonald. Keeping the ball nicely. Lovely little triangles, the tempo's high, and it's up towards you and McKinnon. Oh, it's a great chance. McKinnon probably had to take that. At least work the keeper a bit better than he did. That was the opportunity to cause the shock. But we are growing into this game. As I say that, it's an AC Milan corner though, into Barrow at the back stick. Mackenzie heads clear as far as Vlasic again. The corner taker puts it in. The marking is atrocious, but we might be saved by VAR. Cavini ran in completely unmarked at the back stick. Barrow was there as well. And Barrow, interfering with play, might be the man who was offside. He is. That's why it's disallowed. Barrow does us a favour. He didn't need to make the run, but he did. And he caused the offside flag to go up. 5 minutes to half time, still 0-0 here. This would be a fabulous result. Don't forget every draw helps the coefficient as well, as McDonald gets the ball on the right to Broom. He's got 2 centre-halves with him. Whitaker's 1. We have definitely looked better as a balanced side rather than trying to push onto them. As Harvey Lloyd picks it up to Broom, to Tom Jones, to Reyes. The young wonder kid, he's got a chance here. Beats 2 men onto his left foot. Oh, it's just wide. It's such a good effort. Reyes just a whisker away from the post. But at half time, the stats are now level. That's possession and shots. We've had the better expected goals, but it's still goalless. And we're going to ask the lads to try and go out there and grab a win, because this could be a famous night if we somehow nick a winner. It's already going to be great if we draw. As it's a throw on the right hand side for Milan. Billy Gilmore picks the ball up from the throw-in. Back out to the fullback Bilardo. He's got the chance to get to the byline, which he has. There's 4 in the middle. That's unfortunate. The deflection found Barrow, knocked it under the keeper Wickens. But there's Chris Broom on the line. That's the man we're looking for. This is looking alright. I'm relatively happy. They've come back out better in the second half, Milan. But we're still competing well enough. It's just whether we can do that for the full 90. We've got about 25 to go. We will look at some changes now. Just try and freshen up the legs. Because let's be honest, McKinnon's nervous. Alongside him, Walters has had a poor game. So I'm going to take off Walters for Loza. I'm going to take off Jones for Bulkley. And I'm going to take off Broom or Reyes. It's going to be Reyes for Malone. They're the best three subs we have in my book. Of all of the players, maybe Kelly as a defender. But going forward, they're the ones who can make a difference. Let's see if they do. And let's see if we can hold on. Because this could be brilliant. We're not far away from a very famous result against a very top opposition. If we can compete with the elite sides and get bonus points in the Champions League, get a bonus round in the Europa League, that's when we get the other Welsh sides into top qualifiers. As with 5 minutes to go, I think we're going to hold on. Milan are starting to dominate the stats. With 90 seconds to go, we've got a throw by their corner flag. McDonald plays a 1-2 into Loza. Loses out in the air. Malone gets there first to Harvey Lloyd. To Broom. Got the left full-back in support. Instead finds Bulkley, the youngster. Into Loza again. Great save, Dean Henderson. And it's behind for a corner kick. The defenders look shattered, particularly the full-backs. Broom looks knackered. I don't know how we get the best out of them on Saturday now against TNS. Because we've got 2 games in 3 days then. But what a result. What a performance. It finishes Bangor City 0, AC Milan 0. I don't think I've ever been that happy with a 0-0 result. But that was a brilliant performance. We've got to be so pleased with the progress we're making. It's plain to see on the pitch. And now we'll be back to face TNS in a moment. We might have to rotate a few. But you can't complain. It was a thoroughly deserved point. Fitness test time ahead of the TNS match. And this one's a little bit tricky because we've of course got to worry about other games here. On Monday, in 2 days, why it's on Monday and not Tuesday or Wednesday, we've got Buckley in the League Cup. And we're going to need to rest everyone for that. We've then got Barry, PSG and Aberystwyth away. 3 games in a week. We follow that up with Airbus a few days later. We might have the chance to postpone a few of those for the internationals. But when we said about there not being a game between the 2 Dynamo Kiev matches, this is where it catches up with us. Because then after the internationals, when we have the double header against the Swiss side in the Champions League, we've got to win. And we've got to have people fit. But in October, we've got 9 games. I mean, between now and the end of October, it's 6 weeks. We've got 13 matches. This is a very difficult situation. So let's see how many of our boys are fit for today, because that's going to be the telling factor and how many changes we might need to make. We'll be back in a moment with the lineup, because even this early on could wrap up the Welsh Premier League title. Okay, so weirdly enough, it's only actually Iestyn Weaver who had a heavy match load. So Bektas is going to come in for his debut. Gwyn Morgan's on the bench if we need to replace him a bit later on. I think we probably will. The rest of the 11, I'm going to stick with the same. So just the one change at fullback. Weaver, completely rested from the squad. Sam Martin comes in. He fills the under-19 quota in space of Pasiarek. We've still got Morgan, Price and Kelly as defensive options. So we're well catered for there. Even Malone can cover right back if we need to. So this is the squad we've gone for. It's almost the same as the Milan match. And we'll be hoping the outcome will be even better. If we're at our best, TNS don't have a chance. Now I do want to mitigate here a bit because TNS are of course missing 2 very key players. They're missing Warren Bell and Kean Burgess, who are both on loan from us. Stefan Banks now a permanent addition note, and Gomez come in, part of a back 5 today by the looks of it. Noah Daly on the bench, Wilf Tinkler, who they signed in the summer, Ollie Ewing. It's a stronger squad. More and more of their starters are dropping into the bench. But into the first half, we're of course heavy favourites. With our first team, we need to turn up, because with 2 games in 3 days, we can't afford any passengers. So in fact, Stefan Banks was the man who came in so they could drop Kean Burgess, with Ngoma moving out to fullback. As early doors, we've got a chance. Reyes gives it to Harvey Lloyd. We're playing good football in the middle again. Broom to McKinnon, back to Tom Jones. Outside of the post and behind. It's a wonderful curling effort, but didn't quite have enough on it, and it just hit the outside of the post. If it had had an inch more, might have hit the other side and thrashed itself in, but it's not to be, as McDonald plays out from the back again. Norman up front for TNS, of course, someone we've got to watch out for. He scored bags of goals in qualifying for Europe. As Jones gets the ball wide to the right-hand side, Kai McDonald beats his man. Good challenge from Ngoma. That's the difference a quality defender can make. As Lloyd gets it 30 yards out to Reyes. switches to the right to McDonald. Just starting to come to the party now, Reyes, after a few games to settle in. Good challenge again in the box from TNS, but eventually it's back to Tom Jones, and it's a great block by his former teammate. Stefan Banks gets it away, and Ngoma's got a throw on the left with Dorian. Plays a 1-2, finds Foyle, now Ngoma again. It's weird seeing people in the TNS team who just wouldn't be out of place in our side, even this stage of the save, as McKenzie gives it to McDonald. Tom Jones plays out to Reyes. This is where we can counter. Bektas on debut, gets it on the left-hand side. First chance to foray forward, but he just stepped back and played safe there. McKenzie gives it to Reyes again, to Broom. McKinnon to Walters, lovely through ball. Ewan McKinnon again. Just wide of the post, chances going begging here. And for as long as it's 0-0, TNS will be very happy. Surely, though, it's just a matter of time. But that back five is pretty strong of theirs, as Lufra's got a goal kick, chips it long down the right, gives it to Ahmet Bektas. Can he create something now? Little trip by Dennis, that's naughty. Bektas gets it inside still, though, to Broom. The advantage played by the ref. Reyes has got the overlap. He can go right instead. Play short to Walters, and now Tom Jones. Harvey Lloyd to Reyes. It's lovely football, but we're not really going anywhere. McDonald changes the game, though. It's a brilliant through ball. McKinnon's shot just deflected behind. It's wonderful defending again. It's last-ditch challenges. They're scrapping their backsides off. But they've not got enough to keep us at bay as Harvey Lloyd puts the corner in. And Ngoma heads away. And now Norman can counter. We might be in trouble here. And Ngoma's a player who can properly defend. And Norman on the counter's a threat. Not the best player technically, but he took it away from us and forced the free kick. Dorian puts it in, foils at the back stick. Whittaker wins it for McKinnon. Up to Kane Walters, got support on the right hand side. Goes alone into the box though. Got to pass, does he? No. The referee's given a penalty, I think. It didn't look a foul. Jason Williams is penalised. He's given a yellow card too. And now Kane Walters has the chance to give us the lead. Steps up left footed, 32 on the clock. And Kane Walters just slides it calmly into the corner. The keeper went the wrong way. He waited for him to dive. And finally, after all the dominance, Bangor City lead 1-0. As we reach half-time, I've got to say we have seen this a few times this season already, where we've been 0-0 or 1-0 at half-time, and then we've had to really battle through in the last few games. I'll show you the earlier games beforehand, because I showed you the fact we're winning them all, but I will show you what the results were and when them sort of goals came. But for now, as long as it's 1-0, as long as we're winning, I'm happy. The expected goals suggest we should have had more. McKinnon's missed a couple of glorious chances, but we have got subs if we need them, as Harvey Lloyd picks it up again. Norman gets the challenge in. I mean, it's 11 behind the ball for TNS. They're scrapping to keep the score down, as Whittaker finds Lloyd. To Chris Broom. Switches left to Bektas. Had a good debut so far. Into Reyes and then Walters. I thought he might have been offside. The flag didn't go up, but he shot straight at the keeper. Not really good enough for him. And we're just over an hour gone on the clock. I think it's time to make some changes. So Chris Broom is shattered. He's going to be replaced by Kyo Bulkley. I'm also very cautious of the fact Bektas hasn't played yet this season. So he's going to be replaced by Gwyn Morgan. A good hour for him. We're happy enough. He might even play on Monday night as well. And then on the right hand side, Kai McDonald looking a bit tired too. So he will be replaced by Patrick Malone. Not ideal, but he can cover out there. I mean, I could actually bring Kelly on, couldn't I? Shall I do that instead? I'll bring Kelly on and I'll put Whittaker out to right back for now. Gives us a new look back four for the last half an hour. But our best players are on the pitch still as Harvey Lloyd delivers it. Beats everyone to McKinnon. And for all the hard work TNS have done today, to give away a goal that stupid, where everyone misses a pretty poor set piece, is tragic as Bulkley's free kick is headed away. Jones will get there first. They're going to be on the pitch together more and more going forward. Bulkley is that far away from the first 11 now, as Daly gets it on the right hand side, the sub, to Ollie Ewing. Back to Hall. Long ball over to Norman. He's got himself in here. Norman fires over the bar. We said earlier he's not the best finisher in the world. Technically he's not great. But he's produced a lot of quality off the ball. His movement, his running, his physicality, all fantastic. As Taiwo comes down the right again, we're in a spot of bother here. Ball into Tinkler. His header straight at Wickens. The flag didn't go up. It would have been a goal. We are really starting to collapse here on the big stage. And we're lucky we had a 2-goal start and TNS can't finish, because it could very easily be 2-2 if they had a good striker. And even now, it is 2-1. Wilf Tinkler puts the header in from 6 yards completely unmarked. And we're going to have to demand a bit more, because this last 5 minutes has been pretty scary. TNS get it back to 2-1, and they're starting to have some glorious opportunities. As we're back again with Walters and Jones, 25 yards out. Not quite sure what's going on and why we came back at that stage of the highlight. Walters went down but no penalty was given, and now we're back with Kelly on the right hand side. Overlapping from centre half. Don't know where the fullback's gone. It's a brilliant ball in though. I tell you what, Kelly, you can play fullback whenever you want. That's a beautiful cross. McKinnon's on the end of it, just glances it at the front stick. He gets our third of the game, his second, and now he's on a hat-trick going into stoppage time as Loughra punches across clear. Tinkler can come away with it. Has made a difference off the bench in fairness, and he's got that quality in front of goal that Norman just hasn't, as Foyle cuts it back to Ngoma, the left-back. Made a real difference for this side today, particularly defensively, as Ewing gets it wide to Banks. He's got an overlap if he wants it in Noah Daly. Takes on Morgan. Doesn't beat him, no. Excellent defending from the fullback. Through ball to Walters on a second of the game. And wraps it up late on. In a second minute of stoppage time. Across the keeper into the side netting. Kane Walters at his very best there. Not quite hit the ground running this season. But starting to look pretty good. Can we get a fifth? I mean, it would be so harsh on them. But we said this has happened a lot this season. Late on, teams have just run out of steam against us. We've made them chase the ball all day. As Whittaker back to Bulkley. And Goma clears it away again. He's been brilliant back there. Tinkler takes on his man. He's got support up front. Gives it to Noah Daly on the right, who beats his man. Gets into the box. And Bulkley has to head away the shot across goal. Reyes comes away with it though. It's end-to-end stuff to finish off. Reyes into the box. It's a brilliant effort. Just wide of the post from Reyes. And that's the 4 minutes of stoppage time up. What a game. What a performance. I've got to say though, since TNS went to a front two, they've caused us a lot of threat up there. As Banks gives it to Hall over the top towards Tinkler. Morgan plays back to Wickens, the keeper, out to Harvey Lloyd. And he gives it away to Taiwo on the left. Chips it into Ewing. Kelly forced to head clear. A frantic end to the match. We nick it 4-1 with 2 late goals. But don't be fooled by that scoreline, because TNS gave us a real fright there. If they come out and attack us next time, a bit like us in Europe against the big boys, they probably can really scare us. Either way though, a brilliant result, a brilliant win for this football club. And this season, I think the title's going to be comfortable. So hopefully, it'll be a domestic season we can enjoy. So Bektas makes his debut. We are catching the leaders with loads of games in hand. The 100% record continues. And I think there's no doubt we're going to win it. PSG did beat Thun, only by 2 goals. So we have potentially got to think they're better than they look on paper. We face Livingston in the 4th round of the SPFL Trust Trophy. Buckley in a couple of days in the League Cup. If I very quickly show you the results off camera, I mean, it's just getting a bit too easy in the league at the moment. Kefren Druids 3-0, Broome Kelly Loza, 6-0 against Aberystwyth, Loza with a brace, Jones with 1, McKinnon with a hat-trick. Morton 4-1, 2 for Walters, Rosario and Sam Martin with his first for the club. 4-0 against Cardiff Met Uni, all 4 coming via Loza. And in the 2 games that we've had today. I think in terms of our schedule though, I'm probably going to come back for the 4th game of the group. I would expect to lose away at PSG. I would expect to get a result away in Switzerland. Then we will come back for the home game against the Swiss opposition, which could wrap up Europa League football post-Christmas. And then one of the 2 against Colwyn Bay. That means we can then do PSG and Bala in the final group stage game as well. If you did enjoy this episode though, those 2 really good performances, cracking result against AC Milan, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know what you thought of the Welsh transfer window, some much bigger moves going on this summer. TNS starting to use the money, starting to flex their muscles. And a few others starting to come back from English lower leagues. That's exactly what we need moving forward. If you want to stay up to date and find out how we get on this season though, please do subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on. You'll get alerts as daily videos released from 2 long-term stories. There's also links to all the other playlists, including the head coach, where we've had a massive episode in the last couple of days. That's up in the eye above, alongside the Twitch channel and the new food channel too. Please do go and follow and subscribe to all of those if you haven't already. And I'll see you next time. Big games in Europe to continue. But this time, it's going to be a winnable one. Fingers crossed we can keep up the good form. I'll see you there to find out.